right, welcome back to another episode of Weekly Tangents, the weekly show made exclusively for our valued listeners. All 20 of them. So this week, we'll be talking exclusively about exclusive things.
Well, I like how you're upping the amount that we have anyway, because I know for a fact that two of those views definitely come from you and me, two of those likes come from you and me, and one of them is my mom, and she watches multiple times throughout her workday. So,
Oh man, I sure hope people are tempted to listen after that. Okay.
yeah.
Well, moving on though, this week we're going to be talking about some of the exclusive things we're part of or exclusive experiences we've had and, the rewards that come with them. So kind of, our private memberships and the rewards we reap from them.
Oh, okay. I'm interested.
Yeah, so I'll start with an opening example and also give you some time to desperately think over your life for some things that qualify.
Well, I just need an example, because I'm not exactly sure what exclusivity we're talking about, so yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'll start with this. I didn't come up with a title for it, so I'm just going to jump right in. This is about my time in middle school when, as you know, I was a huge band nerd. At least in terms of my time allocated to it. I was into percussion and drumline specifically. And as part of being in the middle school band, the famous DMMS Colts band, we got to go to Disneyland. That way we could do a kind of band-related event where we would go into a recording room and we would play the music to various Disney soundtracks. And then they would take our recording and overlay it over the video. And so we could kind of see how it would be perceived, the whole experience, if we were the ones playing it.
If Disney's professional composers were replaced by middle school band nerds.
Exactly. And it was actually a really cool experience because, unless you're gonna fucking learn how to play every single instrument on your own, learn how to edit and blah, 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 like that is actually kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. And we did pretty okay from what I remembered, but it was just like actually kind of putting the two together, seeing and hearing all our hard work. It was actually kind of exciting too, because like we didn't get to practice beforehand. It was sight reading, so we got about 2 minutes to read the music beforehand, and we just had to fucking play it, and it actually turned out pretty good, I think, for my middle school perception.
Did you guys get to keep a recording of it or anything?
Unfortunately, we didn't. Otherwise, I would have actually brought it up and then played it to you beforehand or something.
Mm-hmm.
But even outside of that, once we were done with that aspect, we were middle schoolers at Disneyland, and that was my first time ever at Disneyland. First of 2 times, but I literally don't remember the second. But the first time I was at Disneyland, which was there, it was cool. Just going with my friends in middle school, riding all the rides, getting to experience all the shops and everything, the food. It was actually a fun time.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. And that perfectly transitions into my first exclusive experience.
Oh, okay, sure. Why not?
So, at the same middle school, I was in drama. And in 8th grade, I was in the exclusive advanced drama class. And we went to Disneyland. And
wait, really?
Yeah, we went to Disneyland, and we got to go to the performers, actors, whatever, improv workshop that was in some behind the scenes area of Disneyland. And we got to practice improv for 2 hours, learn some skills, and then we were just inside Disneyland. But on the downside for me, I hate amusement parks and rides, so I was miserable the entire time.
Wait, so why do you hate Disney? No, not Disneyland, but why do you hate amusement parks in general?
I do not like thrill rides. I don't find those particularly entertaining. Disney's slower rides are fine, but if you're at Mulligan's in our hometown, that doesn't have long lines for smaller rides. Where Peter Pan is a cool ride, but when you have to wait an hour and a half to get on it, not nearly as fun. Plus, you're in middle school, so you have to stay with your parent advisor the entire time. You can't just go to do what you want to do. Plus, Disneyland is expensive as fuck, and once again, middle school kind of broke. So
that's fair. My experience actually was kind of iffy in certain parts as well, because we got separated at a certain point when I had to try to find my parents. And as you might recall, I didn't really have a cell phone until high school, at least not a functional one per se. I had one that was for emergencies, call home and the police, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so hard trying to coordinate with my friends because it was the kind of thing with actual buttons for numbers and letters, and you had to tap the number 3 times to get to the letter C, for example.
Yeah, I remember those.
So trying to text them like, "Where are you?" and describing the thing around me, like it took like an hour to fucking find them because also they would be jumping between things. I wouldn't just stand still so we could find them. I'd be like, "Where are you?" They're like, "By Space Mountain." So we go to Space Mountain. I'm like, "Okay, cool. Where are you?" They're like, "Oh, we're actually by the souvenir shop." So we go to souvenir shops. We're like, "Where are you?" They're like, "Oh, we're actually at the food places now." We're like, "Oh my god."
That
Which
is ridiculous. But I mean, speaking of Disney, that does just remind me all of a sudden. I watched some video about like Disney myths and that shit, and I didn't realize. Have you heard the fact that apparently a lot of people, or at least enough where they have to warn the employees there, tried to bring their relatives' ashes to the haunted mansion and dump their ashes there, and uh, and the custodians like are just on average know of like, oh yeah, that looks like someone's ashes. I'll go vacuum that up.
you'd go vacuum it up and toss it in the trash.
Yeah.
That is kind of underwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Honestly, like I understand the sentimentality of ashes and everything, but it kind of like weirds me out. Like one thing my sister did when her dog died was she went to the beach and she spread its ashes like in the water and in with the sand.
I'm
I'm
so
like, I don't.
glad that you said ashes because in my head she was taking a just dog carcass and burying it in the sand.
God, and then some poor kid wanted their parents to bury them under the sand for fun. They found a dead dog. No, um, but no, when she did that, I was like, dang, I think that dog only went to the beach like once or twice. Also, I'm pretty sure that's bad for the environment, but like, I understand the sentimentality, I guess.
Yeah.
But nah, like, I guess getting back on topic, uh, it's just interesting experiences with this kind of thing in middle school. Actually, you brought up mulligans. This I didn't even write down in my list of things to discuss, but it kind of reminded me. In elementary school, at least the J males, I don't know if they did this at your elementary school, but for DARE, which was the most effective drug awareness program known to mankind.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. What happened was they took us to Mulligan's upon the completion of our education, the program. And Mulligan's, for anyone who doesn't know, is just a basic family recreational center that has like mini golf, arcade machines, go karts, batting cages, etc. And point being, we got unlimited everything. So unlimited arcade games, unlimited pretty much everything I said. And that time was when they also debuted the video game section. So unlimited that. We got
Wait,
unlimited
I'm curious
food.
a little bit. Just knowing mulligans, especially at the time, it's not like a Dave and Buster's where you have a card that you swipe and it says like infinity on it. How do
Right.
you have unlimited? Like, is there just a parent who was in there behind you who just like keeps handing you quarters as you're doing skee ball, or how is it unlimited?
I think they adjusted the machines to where the actual cost of it was nothing. So you just press the button to start, I think.
Oh, interesting. So, how did that affect the ticket economy?
I think they also did not give us tickets that day, though, from
Okay, that
what I
would make sense because
remember.
I'm like, man, I would just be going to like the jackpot machines and like, hey, man, it's free if I win one out of every 100. Who
Oh no,
cares?
yeah, you go to that one where it's like the crank thing that you pull up and push down, the big wheel that's kind of like Wheel of Fortune or whatever, trying to get
Yeah.
those 1,000 tickets. You keep getting four tickets. Nah, it was genuinely a fun time though. Like, I don't know that I'd call it this anymore, but for a while that I consider that one of the most fun days of my life because it was just like unlimited video games, go karts, laser tag too was a huge thing, and I fucking dominated at that age. Like, it was just genuinely a really fun time doing that with my elementary school friends who would, become a core members of our friend group going forward.
Yeah,
So
sounds really
yeah.
fun. I'm jealous because I was also part of the DARE program, and the school is, similar distance to Mulligan's as your school was, but we didn't get to go there at all. Maybe they blew all their budget on the one night for you guys.
Yeah, maybe that was the case. Just the entire school district was like, yeah, this is the new school, so we got to incentivize people to go there.
Was your school newer than mine?
Yeah, for elementary, definitely, because I went there the first year it was created, I guess, and that was third grade.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. But I mean, on the topic of exclusivity, which this is me being left out of the exclusivity, I guess, is Mulligan's always had those like lockdown nights or whatever. I
Ah,
guess.
yeah, yeah. I always wanted to do that.
I always wanted, like, I heard the people who said that it sounded so much fun, where basically, like, they lock the door so nobody can come in or get out, which, I mean, I'm sure, of course, if, like, there's some emergency or you're in a bad mood, you can actually get out.
Yeah.
But, and I guess you stayed there till, like, 5 a.m. or something where they open all the stuff, so you just get, like, an overnight trip playing mini golf rides and all of that stuff. And that sounded so fun. And just because I was, young enough that I didn't have the money to do that. My parents weren't going to do that with me. It's just like, damn, I really wish I could have done that.
Honestly, same. Thinking about the experience, I actually think that might be something that might be more fun as an adult. Like if they serve alcohol, like that totally sounds like a great time. Imagine just like drunk mini golf and drunk go-karting. Like that would be such a trip. I would genuinely love to do that to this like right now, but someone tells me they don't have alcohol there and it's probably mixed adults and kids.
Yeah, but that honestly, that does sound like a great idea. You should open up your own mulligans.
I got big ideas here. I'm thinking of the future.
All right, all right.
But
But
yeah.
yeah,
I
oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go. You go. Ladies first.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I was gonna say for my next exclusive thing that I actually did instead of being left out of was, as you know, I went to KCON in like Los Angeles quite a few times.
Right.
And KCON, one of the things when you go in is they always have like goodie bags that you get, where you get like the KCON like shopping bag, you get some stickers, you get a wristband, you get that stuff. And if you, there's different levels, which I don't know what at this point it is. I think the last year that I went, there was like platinum, P1, P2, all the way down to P5. But I think if you got P2 or higher, then you got some scratchers, and the scratchers could like let you go to meet and greets. Or if you were P2 or higher, you got a different scratcher as well that was for like you could do a high touch thing where you could potentially high five, go up on stage and high five
Oh,
members
for
from a
real?
group. Yeah,
That's actually pretty sick.
and I remember that I think it might have been you had to do P1 or up, and I was P2, but they were like, who gives a shit? You're P2, it's close enough, and we have some extra ones of these. So I got like two of them. I scratched, and I actually won high touch for Block B.
Oh, that's
So
pretty sick.
yeah, so I remember I was doing that, and a lot of people were like selling and buying those high touch things for like $100 just so they could line up and high five everyone for like 10 seconds.
That's not worth it.
Yeah, but honestly, I probably should have sold mine for like $100 if everyone was doing that. But yeah, I managed to actually scratch that, and I got in line, and with it being KCON and everything, it was like a line of 200 like 15-year-old girls, and then me being the only male in the entire facility. But yeah, I got to go up on stage, and then I got to go up and it's like, hey, high five, Block B member 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was just like nice. So my dad even like found someone who posted a video on YouTube, and I was wearing a red shirt that day, which really stuck out. So it's like, oh, there you are. You're the only guy up there, and you're also the only one wearing something red, so you can just see me. High five, Block B.
That's actually so funny though, because I don't think I talked about it on the podcast, but I definitely told you my first concert that I went to about a month ago now, I think.
Yeah.
I was like the only like guy there over like the age of 18. Like everyone else was like high schoolers and like scene kids, and I'm like, bruh, this is not the demographic I expected from what I saw online. And it's so uncomfortable because you're like, I just like the music. Why does everyone else have to be like, it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, that's something where, I mean, you and I have both always been like that, where we can get into stuff, but we don't have the like very public screaming reaction. And that
Yeah.
was one of the things that turned me off from KCON, just because the fan base is what it is. They're allowed to enjoy it, but the way that they show their enjoyment detracts from my enjoyment of it. Because I remember going to like the concert portion of it, and you would have just these screaming fans who, I told you about the one girl who was like flailing from side to side, and she would
Yeah.
hit me in the arm every time she saw a BTS member that was like the size of an ant from where we
Oh
were
my
sitting.
gosh, Jungkook.
Yeah, so it was just like between that, I remember going to the bathroom or like when the concert ended, and there were some girls outside that were crying. I'm just like, oh my god, I gotta kill myself. I've seen Jungkook now. He's like so beautiful. I can die happy now. I can kill myself. And it's just like, what the hell are you saying? Like, you saw them perform Fire, which was like, it was good. I agree. I enjoyed it. I don't know. It's like you're allowed to enjoy what you want, but God doesn't detract from my enjoyment.
No, I totally get you. But I guess since this is a new thing for the podcast, I did go to another concert just about a week ago for probably my favorite artist over the last 3 years, Year and Bake.
Hmm.
And the audience there, oh, 10 out of 10. Most of them just knew to shut the fuck up so we could listen to her sing. Because, like, I mean, she's like a singer, not like a K-pop group where it's big about the dance performance. It's just basically her just singing her heart out. And people knew to shut up, listen, not scream right in my ear. Oh, it was great, let me tell you. And people were even pretty good about recording on their phones. Like, they,
Yeah.
they might record for like the first, like, verse and chorus and then put their phone down. I'm like, honestly, yeah, I could live with that. Like, you're not recording the whole show the whole time. I'm like, yeah, I totally understand wanting to get some of it. I have no issues here. It was just, oh my God, so great.
Yeah, I had told you that when I had also gone to like a smaller Korean hip hop concert for Mad Clown and Sonny, it was a similar vibe for my place. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I guess on the vibe of exclusivity, I was considering getting the meet and greet tickets, like the VIP thing and everything.
Yeah,
But they're like,
how much more would that have been?
so the tickets I got with Fast Pass, mind you, to get in the front were $60, but it would have been 40 without Fast Pass.
Hmm.
Uh, but the VIP meet and greet was 150, which quickly talked me out of it because all it was getting to meet her and like getting to take a photo, which I was pretty tempted, not gonna lie, for like only 150. But the thing was, I saw that they had a little disclaimer about something about the photos being in groups of 6. And
Oh, okay.
I was looking at my coworker. I'm like, does this mean photos of up to 6 or 6? Like, is the set number? And he's like, it has to be like up to 6. Like groups of friends going together. I'm like, maybe. But then I saw pictures afterwards, and no, it was like 6 people in every photo. And I'm like, bruh, I'm so glad I didn't fucking do it. Because
Yeah,
imagine if I paid 150 and I was the guy on the end. Like, that would be funny and such a letdown.
yeah. Because I was gonna say if it was one-on-one photos, I would call you stupid for not getting that because just with like even if it's more expensive, with this being your favorite artist and being able to have like a memento that's one-on-one photo, that would be awesome. But yeah, if it's a group of 6 and it's you and 5 other people that you're like, who the fuck are these people? Even if they're more chill at that concert anyway, it would still not be nearly as good.
Yeah. I guess kind of as a funny, and this is definitely gonna come off as me being a simp, but it's just kind of a thing that I'm gonna tell anyways. When she came on stage, like, okay, like we've talked before, like in private, about like the most attractive like people we know or have seen, like celebrities or whatever, whatnot. But like when she came on, I was like, oh my God, this is literally the most fucking attractive person I've ever seen in my life, because she's like literally a celebrity, and she's like maybe, I don't know, 10 yards from me. I played football. That seems about right, counting for elevation and everything and
Okay.
the barricade and everything. I'm like, damn, I'm going to have a heart attack. If I got the meet and greet, I would not be able to handle it, Dylan.
Well, I mean, if you really wanted the exclusive meet and greet, you should have just bought 5 other meet and greet tickets that were VIP. So you could have been like, I am the 6 people in this photo.
Oh, but hear me out. What if what happens instead is they just pair me with each of the like 6 other groups?
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's
The end
36
guy,
people in total, and you go to each one. That would be depressing.
Like, I just feel like knowing my luck, that would happen.
Well, then you just got to buy every meet and greet ticket.
Oh, God. You know what? Worth.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, moving on from that, I actually have another like pretty significant story as far as a private exclusive experience I've done.
Yeah, go
Um,
for it.
as you might recall, at my community college, I was the vice president and later acting president of my school's honor society chapter. And as part of that, in both fall and spring semesters, we had leadership conferences we would go to. I think the one I went to was Irvine or San Diego. I can't remember which. I want to say I went to the one in San Diego. And when I went there, the whole point was we would spend a weekend in San Diego, a bunch of college students, just learning about what it means to be a leader. And I'm sure you can already tell that no one fucking did that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. But so it was pretty great because I essentially got a school sponsored trip to get my own hotel room to explore the city of San Diego for a whole weekend with, at the time, was a girl who I fell hopelessly head over heels for. And we're
Was
not
it
gonna get
Yaren
into-
Bake?
Yeah, it was her. How did you know? I actually met her many years ago before she got famous.
I knew it.
But all jokes aside, it was just a really fun trip where I spent the whole time flirting with a girl who I did not know was not in fact single. And it was just, Even aside from that, we got to go to like various restaurants in the area that were sponsored by the school. We got to what else did we do? They had pools, jacuzzis. I don't think I went to a single leadership thing that whole time. And other people who did were telling me like, yeah, we're not really learning all that much. And I'm like, yeah, why are you actually trying to? Which does not look good for the guy who maybe I shouldn't be talking about this in retrospect. But you know what? Whatever. We're fucking going for it. It was just a cool thing because I haven't actually had many school sponsored events like in college, and I was in a lot of things. I was in honors. I was like in various STEM programs, various like clubs and everything. Like nothing ever did anything like that except for that. And it was genuinely one of the most fun times I had in all of college.
Well, once again, I got to leech off of everything that you say.
Okay.
So we went to the same middle school, as we talked about with the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
Did you go to the sixth grade leadership camp?
No, actually, I don't even know what that is. What is it?
So there was for like 1 week, if you paid, I don't know, like $300 or something, you didn't have to go to school that week. And instead, you wake up and get in front of the school at like 6 a.m. on Monday or something. And then they drive you up to the mountains that were, like 2 hours away from our school or something. And there was a camp up in the like snowy mountains. And it was a, once again, quote unquote leadership camp where it's like, okay, you guys get to play games and like eat food and all of this stuff. And it's not very much leadership things. It's more of like, hey, we just gave money to you guys and our school's probably pocketing half of it.
Yeah.
But it was a really fun time, especially when you're in sixth grade. But it just has so many memories for me with it being like one thing, which I don't think you know this before, but do you know what pull-ups are?
Pull
Not
up.
like the exercise.
Okay, I was gonna be like, that's insulting, but never mind. No, are you talking about like the diapers?
Yeah, so pull-ups are like diapers, except for people that don't actually need diapers during the day. It's more of just like a night thing. So for me, I could not like wake up in the middle of the night to stop peeing up until sixth grade, and I guess I was just so terrified if someone thought that I was going to piss myself in the middle of the night at the camp, where that was the like start. I remember specifically that is when I stopped peeing the bed in the middle of the night because I brought pull-ups and I was like, no, I'm not going to go into the bathroom and put these
Yeah.
pull-ups on. And so I was just like, God, I hope I don't pee in the middle of the night. And I guess I was just so terrified that I would do that, where I woke up and like, oh, I have to pee in the middle of the night, and then I went and did that, and then went back to bed. So
You know what? Actually, there's nothing quite like social peer pressure for getting you to change. Like that's not bad, actually.
yeah, but man, the worst part of that camp, which was completely my fault, is I am a very picky eater, and when I was that young, I was even worse. So I remember one night there was like a taco night for dinner, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna eat these tacos. I don't like tacos. And the salad bar had croutons, and when I was a kid, I just loved
Oh
eating croutons.
no.
So I went to the salad bar and I got myself like a soup bowl full of croutons, and I was just eating that shit like cereal. And my mouth started to bleed because, believe it or not, croutons are not meant to be an entire meal.
No, they aren't. They are very dry. Hopefully, did you have water with you at least?
Oh, well, of course I had water, but it was just water and croutons.
Bruh. It sounds like that stupid SpongeBob thing where it's like I had a bowl of nails for breakfast without any milk.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I had.
Yeah, basically. Good God, your determination is kind of toxic, but kind of impressive.
Well, yeah, you can congratulate myself from 10 years ago on that.
Yeah, well, there's actually two ways I want to take this conversation. I want to start with actually on topic though. Like, did you learn anything about leadership that whole time or not really?
I mean, first of all, I'll tell you, I hardly remember high school at this point, so asking me to remember the first year of middle school is asking for a lot. I remember that there were some things where, like, I remember that we learned that the triangle is the most steady shape or something.
What stops you with leadership?
I don't know, in case you ever need to tell people, hey, we need to build a triangle because it's the strongest shape. Um, but beyond that, no. I remember we just like played some fun games. We played dodgeball. I ate I ate croutons. So I don't really remember anything leadership wise.
Fair enough. I'm gonna derail this a little bit to get a little existential, just because it kind of made me think about it.
Mhm.
You mentioned how like at this point you barely remember high school, never mind middle school. Dude, when I was in that age range, I just thought it was so depressing that other people couldn't remember that period of their lives. And I'm like, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life because this is very important to me. And now that I'm older, no, I totally barely remember any of that shit. And I'm kind of happy about that. It's just like, I've made significantly better memories since then. So it's just
Yeah,
kind of funny how perspective changes things.
yeah. You only tend to remember the highlights and the lowlights of it.
Yeah, but since you shared a story about ability or inability to use the restroom and whatnot, I'm gonna.
Okay.
I was debating on sharing this one like when I was writing this last night, and I decided not to because it's really embarrassing. But fuck it, I'm gonna tell it anyways in the story of content.
Okay. I appreciate it.
So in elementary school, and this has to do with exclusivity. Don't worry, this is on topic.
Ooh, you got to the teacher's bathroom.
Well, actually, you're not too far off. In one time in elementary school, I don't remember if it was my first one or my second one at this point. The point being, one time I went to use the restroom and I found blood on the toilet seat, which, as a guy, is kind of unusual. You know, like what the does this person have like hemorrhoids at age 7 or something?
Especially because you don't know what hemorrhoids are at age 7.
No, so I was concerned. I'm like, what happened? Did someone die here or something? And I didn't want to put my butt on someone else's blood. Like,
That's
in
fair.
retrospect, that was a very good decision. It's just everything that followed that was maybe a bad decision. So I went to the nurse's office. And I'm like, hi, can I use your restroom? And they let me use it that one time. And when I explained that there was blood on the seat, no big deal. But then the next time I had to use the restroom, I went straight to the nurse's restroom. I'm like, hi, can I use your restroom? And they said, no, you have to use the restroom for students and everything. And I'm like, but there was blood on it last time. They're like, it's gone cleaned. It's okay. Go use it. But I was just a traumatized little Jonathan, and I would not use that restroom. So I would just hold it for the rest of the day until I could not hold it anymore. And I pissed myself, right? So after that, I got to go to the front office for the nurse area, and I got to go home early. That way I could shower, get a change of clothes and everything. Well, after that, I still was traumatized from the blood on the toilet seat, and I decided I would rather piss myself than risk going on a bloody toilet seat. So for the rest of that year, I would either use the nurse's restroom or I would piss myself. And eventually it became such a problem that I was the one student they would just let use the restroom in the nurse's office, no questions asked, because they did not want another strike from the mad pee-pee boy.
Okay, I have so many questions. First of all, I even worked at like a Hagwon kindergarten in Korea. Even if they're child size, they have urinals. Did they not have urinals at your school?
I don't think I used a urinal as a kid for some reason. I don't remember why, but as a kid, I definitely peed while I sat. I remember in middle school, that's the first time I actually really tried standing.
Well, you one time saw blood in a urinal and you were like, I can never stand in front of a urinal again.
And also, one thing I might not remember, I might have shit myself one or two times. I don't recall doing that, but logically, I guess it kind of makes sense. It's just that's a lot more disgusting. So
Okay, well, number 2 is my elementary school was pretty big. Yours might not have been as big, but it was still probably a decent size. Was there only one bathroom beyond the nurse's bathroom?
I think in the nurse's office there might have been one or two restrooms. I don't know why I didn't try any other restrooms. I think I didn't trust a single student restroom after I saw the blood, and I saw that's a faculty one that got cleaned better. So yeah, like I couldn't think of any others off the top of my head that were like not available to students without some kind of supervision, I guess.
And then my third thing is just, I guess you've always been a germaphobe.
Yeah, that's maybe that's part of where it developed. But also, I think I don't know if I had this motive, but looking back on it, I might have had it. Like, I think maybe I might have realized that I could go home early if I pissed myself. So maybe I just started doing it on purpose, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I would have done that. It's way too foggy. I just distinctly remember doing the general thing here. So there you go, exclusive use to the nurse's restroom.
Well, I'm sure that's 10 out of 10. I'm sure that nurse loved you.
Yeah, you're gonna animate this one, right?
Oh, God, yeah, just little piss boy.
Oh God! All right. Hopefully, you got something to majorly derail us from that one.
Yeah, I do. Thank God. So, Jonathan, who would you say your favorite actor is?
My favorite actor, huh? Let me.
Who would be your favorite actor from the original Spider-Man trilogy?
Oh well, obviously Tobey Maguire.
There you go. I knew this was going to take too long, and I knew that if I just said Spider-Man in general, that you might have chosen someone else.
So, James Franco? No, not given his recent allegations. Continue though.
Yeah. So I have a large age gap between me and my siblings. I was born in 1998. My oldest sibling was born in 1978. And the oldest sibling, she is actually, or was, a publicist. In Hollywood, whenever someone needed to, like, get on the Ellen show, get on, a commercial or anything like that, an interview, she's the person who helps them do that kind of shit.
Hmm.
And me, as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, however old I was when like Spider-Man 2 was coming out or something, my
Yeah.
sister was like, "Hey, I'm Tobey Maguire's publicist right now. Would you like to meet Spider-Man?" And this isn't exclusivity that you can pay for. This is
Yeah.
like
Like
pure,
connections.
pure. Is it nepotism that family related? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah. So this is pure nepotism exclusivity right here. So I got to go in as like a 6-year-old, and Tobey Maguire was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "Hi." And top 10 moments, I gotta say.
Do you know how fucking jealous I am though? Like that would have made my life right there.
Actually, now that I'm saying this, fuck that, because I actually didn't care about Spider-Man. I know that you did, which is why I brought it up. But you know what I did love and do love is Scooby Doo.
Did you get to meet someone from Scooby Doo too?
Um,
Not like Scooby Doo
Actually,
number two.
specifically, yes, Scooby Doo 2.
Oh, really?
So Scooby Doo and Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, which we watched and you love.
Yeah, totally.
My sister got me to go to the world premiere of that, which isn't like one of those shitty, like, you go to Edward Cinema at midnight world premieres. This is like the actual first showing of it ever at like an exclusive theater. And I went to that. And first of all, I didn't know this when I was that young, so this is more like cool in retrospect. But I used to love Simple Plan. Simple Plan plays the intro for What's New Scooby Doo. So Simple Plan was
Yeah.
at and performing at the world premiere of that. But
So
I
wait, so you
got
got to see them live?
I mean, I got to see them do What's New Scooby Doo live. I don't remember if they
Oh
did other
yeah.
songs, but
Oh, that's their best song.
yeah, I got to do that, and then you get a little Scooby Doo goodie bag while you're there, and I got to see like the actors go up on stage beforehand and see the old guy do his raggy voice and all that stuff. And as a kid who loved Scooby Doo, that was like the best possible thing that I could have gone to. I loved that.
That's actually so amazing though. Your sister's job had so many perks.
It really did.
Dang, you were literally living the life. I don't feel like I've heard about that one as like really at all. Now that I think about it, you've told me about the Tobey Maguire one. I feel like this is key information.
Yeah, it's probably just because, once again, hardly remember high school. This is like, third grade or something, second grade. So I have a hard time remembering it. Plus, I just bring up the Tobey Maguire because I know that you love the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah, for various reasons, most ironic, but yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I sadly I don't have anything to like keep up with meeting celebrities, but I have one that is kind of a like, this one's kind of a genius one that no one actually acted on. It didn't happen, but my friend realized a little exploit in a system here about exclusivity.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share it because maybe it'll be something like I'll regret not having acted on. You can tell me the genius of the plan or not.
All right. All right.
So, as you definitely know, like the Metal Amex card comes with benefits regarding flights where you get unlimited food and drink beforehand, right?
Yeah, and it's also the benefit of because my dad has one. Thing's heavy as fuck for a credit card. If someone's running at you, you could probably toss that thing like a shuriken.
And take them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing my friend found was there was this one service, like I don't remember what it was, but it's like a subscription thing where like you pay a flat rate and you get to have unlimited flights around the US just for that one flat rate annually. But the only catch is you can only like uh, register for the ticket for the flight the day beforehand or the day of. You cannot do it any more in advance than that. In fact, it might have just been the day of now that I'm thinking about it. But point being, it went on a discount for $150. So he was saying, if you have a metal Amex card and you get that, you could theoretically totally just get like unlimited food and drinks like every single weekend and just fly like 1 hour down, just taking advantage of the Amex thing in the meantime. And I was like, wait, that's actually kind of a genius idea for like $150 flat, not counting the, of course, the cost of getting the Amex, which is way in the military. Point being, like, yeah, this is a genius plan, right?
Well, I mean, on that topic of just like exploiting airline stuff, have you heard about the like huge airplane deal with like endless tickets that happened in like the 90s or early 2000s?
Wait, no, what's that?
That was something that actually got exploited by a couple of people, where I forget which airline it was, but they basically had a deal of if you pay $250,000, you have like a lifetime flyer pass for this airline, where you will not have to pay for an airline ticket for the rest of your life on our airline. And they're like, okay, how often do people actually fly? This is something where, the money means a lot more to us right now because they were kind of going through a financial problem time, and
Yeah.
we'll probably make it back. We normally have open seats anyway, and little did they know that there was this one guy who was like, okay, if I get free tickets, then I'll just like, you know what? I want some Chicago pizza. Let's go Chicago. Okay, I want, so he would literally fly every single day cross country because it's like, dude, if you have $250,000 for this ticket, chances are you're not working a 9 to 5 where you have a hard time,
Yeah.
finding time for a flight. Chances are you're pretty fucking loaded. So once they realized of like, oh God, this guy will sometimes be the only person on a plane because he just has this ticket and he's just always doing this stuff. This is actually losing us a huge amount of money. So yeah, I guess the airlines in general have kind of a history of making not great deals for themselves.
Well, I feel like one, they exploit customers a lot, so this is like our chance of getting, revenge. But no, that's just
I don't think it's our chance if you need $250,000, unless you're hiding some money I didn't know you had.
it's someone else's chance.
Okay,
There we go, the rich stealing from the rich.
I love it.
But no, that's actually genius though. I just love the thought of, I want some New York pizza. No, fuck that. I want Chicago pizza.
Yeah, it's like, well, I got free tickets, so let's get both.
Honestly, you may as well at that point.
Yeah.
Let
Oh
me
my God.
think.
I mean, I would only get that. I mean, this had to have been in the 90s because I would hate to imagine that in a post 9/11 world where it's like, how does it sound to go through TSA every day for the rest of your life? It's like, oh my God, just kill me now.
Okay, you just instantly talked me out of this. I hope you know.
Yeah.
Do you have any other stories about exclusive events or whatnot?
I have some more sister related things, but they're on a similar enough scale that I think I'm good. So unless you got something, I think this is long enough.
I'll share one more one just because it's kind of a short, funny one that'll be good to end on.
Go for it.
All right. So back in high school, as you know, I was actually relatively athletic before my stomach decided to destroy me.
Which was
Um,
freshman year, so this isn't very long, but okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I was on the football team in freshman year, and in general, I was like a backup because our football was huge at our school. We had our starters who were the stars of campus. We had the backups who were still, pretty good. They got to play on backup Saturdays. And then we had everyone else because the depth chart was too long.
Well, you're
And
also
I
talking about the freshman team. It's not like you were backup for varsity.
That's true. And I was like just a part of the everybody else when it came to football. Wrestling was a different story, but for football, I was just a nobody. I was just a guy, a jag as we call it in football. And point being, yeah, I didn't really have too much to hang my hat on, except you see, the thing about Vista is we try to bump up our numbers. Where for one, most spirited school in the country, even though I don't think we actually were. That's probably just some California-based award.
I don't know. I know we just got extra money, like at least 1 year for it, because we got a uh, in school DJ that played during lunch, and we got
Yeah,
an in
how
out truck.
exciting. But all jokes aside, so we were always looking for ways to buoy ourselves up in rankings, and one of them was academics. So at one point, we tried to find the most smart football players, and for those football players, the ones who were like straight A's for the semester thus far, and it was like November, so pretty far into the semester. They would be the captains for that week. They'd be the ones going out onto the field for the coin toss and everything, right? And during the actual starter game too on Thursdays. So like actually, pretty significant with how much people actually watch football at that school. And I had straight A's at that time. But you see, the thing is, that was a technicality because I got like a C or something on a test that just wasn't put into like Blackboard or Canvas or whatever it used at the time. It wasn't put in yet. So like I technically had it for that day, but by later to that time that night, it was already revoked, but no one knew. So I was honorary football captain. And the thing was, like, girls took notes, like, oh, Jonathan, you're on the football team and you're like a captain, huh? And all the football guys were bros for me because I guess they realized that I don't got game. So they're like, yeah, Jonathan's a football captain. And they're like, oh, is he good? And they're like, yeah, he's pretty good, even though I was like totally like sixth string or whatever. And it was genuinely funny seeing how literally just being a captain for having straight A's and no one knew the reason for it just got me so much clout on campus for no reason. It was like I was living a different life right there.
Dude, well, I also love it when you're a kid and you have that perspective where you're like, oh no, I hope that the football coaches don't, check again in the middle of the game and they pull me off. Where realistically, they don't give a fuck about it. They're like, okay, it's this kid today. Okay, we're not going to check until next week.
Yeah, they're just probably happy to be like, okay, good. We at least have 5 people with straight A's or something close to that. Like half the team's failing, but at least we got these people.
Yeah.
So they were probably happy about it. But it was just a funny experience. I got to experience being a football captain at least once in my life, which I mean, hey, that's a bucket list item right there.
Dude, the only thing that disappoints me with this episode of the podcast is that we don't have a Patreon or anything, because that would be the perfect cliffhanger at the end of like, and speaking of exclusivity, if you want an extra, half an hour to this podcast, blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
actually, have you ever been a part of someone's Patreon or something else exclusive? Because that's actually a good way to end this now that I think about it.
I am. The Yard, which is Ludwig's podcast, I pay the $5 a month for their Patreon, so I get an extra hour of their podcast every week.
And that's worth it to you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Is it just an expansion of what they normally talk about? Or is it like, this is just bros like totally talking on weekly tangents here?
I mean, normally their topics are just kind of bros talking, and the after thing is like sometimes they'll be a bit more vulgar because it's obviously not on YouTube, so they don't have to worry about demonetization. But beyond that, it's normally just like extra topics, just extra fun times.
That's fair. I have a few creators who I've really strongly considered like joining their Patreon for, because like $1 a month, $5 a month. I think I'm going to genuinely do it because the amount of content you get for just such a little price, and you get to support them to keep doing their thing. I think it's a good cause. So hint, hint, those 20 listeners. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, mom.
Hint, hint, Dylan's mom. Give us money. But nah, I'm happy ending it there.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll get our Patreon. But
till then. Now, yep, I hope you all enjoyed the exclusive episode that's going to be posted publicly for everyone to view.
Ta-ta for now.
Toot toot for new.